until dawn. Oh my, I caught a shark. I'm fishing in Florida, where the sun shines all day. They call me a grouper, 'cause I'm fishing in Florida. Oh yeah.
It's the Fish Florida Show with your host, Rachael Stevens, bringing the outdoors to you every Sunday morning, 8 to 10 a.m. And now your host, Rachael Stevens.
Hey, good morning to you out there. It is the Fishing in Florida show. We are no longer the Fish Florida show after 3 years of helping promote the Fish Florida group and the affiliates and all of the goodies. I've been asked not to come back. Fine welcome. Anyway, we are still here, and we're, just to be clear, we're no longer the Fish Florida show. This is going to be the first show of 2020 for Fish Florida and the last show of 2020 for Fish Florida. From now on, it will be Fishing in Florida. We are no longer affiliated with the Fish Florida group. We are no longer on the app. We will no longer use the name. So welcome. Thank you for taking the time, and it is an honor and a privilege to have you join us. This morning I have Robert Warner. Robert is with the Florida Fisherman Magazine. Good morning, Robert, and I appreciate you taking the time to call in, my friend.
Good morning. How's everybody doing?
Well, it's a little chilly this morning.
That is.
A little bit on the chilly side. Got out there to walk the dog because that's the first thing I do on Sunday mornings is take him out for a few minutes before we get everything going. And, it's kind of blowing right through me there. It was a little cooler than I expected. From what I understand, this is going to be a little cool day today. I think the high is going to be, and I had it all in front of me, and son of a gun if I just lost it all.
Mid-60s, yep.
It's going to be a chilly one. And you tell me you're headed out to the park?
We are headed for Jonathan Dickinson State Park, and we'll let you know what it's like there, but I'm sure it's just as cold as it is everywhere else.
I think it's a little colder.
The wind's blowing, so I'm sure that this is not a good offshore day either. So,
yeah, we've had lots of wind, and I'm way out west. I'm probably 14, 15 miles out west from the ocean, and it is blowing out here. It looks like the temperature has picked up a little bit already. When I got up this morning, it was mid-50s. It was about 54, 55. We're up to 68, it looks like, at this point. So we are warming up. The high for today is supposed to be right around 68, 70 degrees, so it looks like we're already reaching into the highs. Tomorrow morning, going to be a pleasant day, 73 degrees for the high. So this next week coming up will be slightly cooler, warming up again around Friday. But today is not going to be one of those days that you want to be out in a boat, I don't think, anyway. Not me, not with all this wind that's blowing. But a good day to go fishing if you want to fish from the shore, maybe fish from a bridge, fish some backwaters. Be a good day for that as the day warms up here.
This is an inshore fishing day. This is not an offshore fishing day, for sure. So.
And speaking of offshore fishing, Pam Worth, who has been so gracious with her time and has been my co-host for, 2 years, she's also taking a break from the show. She's involved in a couple of tournaments. She's going to be, the next 4 weeks, from what I understand, she's going to be involved in tournaments, so she wouldn't be able to be on with me anyway. So a big thank you to Pam Worth for all that you've done and all that you've, all the dedication. I didn't realize that when she was doing the show in the morning on Sunday, she's kind of giving up one of her fishing days when she was doing that, and I greatly ignorant me, I never realized that. But so I'm grateful to her. She's out there doing her thing, and she is probably going to put the men to shame like she usually does.
Well, hello to Pam wherever she is. So.
And she'll be calling in from time to time, I think, and giving us fishing reports like she used to before she became the co-host. She'll be calling in from time to time, and we'll get an idea of what's going on off of the West Coast. In the meantime, Robert and I are on the East Coast, and later today I will have another guest on from the East Coast, and that'll be Angelia. She's the Salty Cowgirl. She'll be coming on 9:45, telling us what's going on down there in the Keys. And so stay tuned. Now, who else have we got going on today? Let's see. We've got Betty Bowman with Ladies Let's Go Fishing. We're going to talk about the latest that Betty has got going on. And Joe Hector with the Extreme Kayak Tournaments. He's going to tell us about some updates that are going on with the Extreme Kayak Tournament divisions. Rachael excuse me, Rachael Covello. Rachael is with the Fishmonger Approved magazine. She's going to tell us a little bit about the latest that's going on with health foods. You know, it's just that kind of time of year. At the beginning of the year, people are thinking about, well, I want to eat healthy and do this and that. So she's got some recipes she's probably going to share with us. And then we'll finish it off with Angelia later on this afternoon. Did you do any fishing this last week, Robert?
I did not. It was holidays and all of that, and kids were in town, and did not do any fishing last week. Nope,
Yeah,
not a bit. But certainly thinking about it.
Haven't done it.
Sitting yesterday, looking through some old pictures and missing the days in Key Largo, so I got to get down there soon. So
it is a different way of life down there. It really is. It's hard to describe unless you're down there, living down there. It is.
It's a different world.
Yeah, it is. It's a much.
It's funny. As soon as you get through that 18-mile stretch of road, you find yourself in a different planet. So
it's a lot more laid back, I think might be a way to describe it. It's not a hurry, rush kind of thing that we see here in the cities, and the people, the mentality of the people is different. It's just hard to describe unless you're down there, Most
of them have moved there for a reason, and the reason is quite
get away.
Quite easy to figure out. So
get away.
Yeah, pretty much.
Let's see. We're going to have Joe on here in a little while. He's going to tell us a little bit about the kayak tournaments going on. Any other tournaments that you're aware of that are going on?
No, like I said though the other day, this is normally sailfish tournaments. I was following Aaron Sutcliffe yesterday down in Marathon, who was catching one after another he had a charter out, and I think they got 4 or 5 sails in the course of the day. And
nice.
It's happening all up and down the East Coast right now. Well, at least the southern part of the East Coast right now. They've already moved south from the northern parts of the state, but they are migrating in that direction, in a southerly direction. So
is that what I'm not familiar
to do some sail fishing? This is the time. So
I'm not familiar with their patterns. Is that what happens? They move from the north down
to
the south?
Yeah, they will eventually end up in Mexico. They will just keep going south and staying with warm water. As it gets colder here, they'll just keep moving further south.
And they end up in Mexico?
Yep.
Wow. That's a long way.
And then they turn around and go back.
So where do they start out from? Do you know?
I do not. I know that they first appear to us off the coast of the Carolinas.
Oh, my.
And then they start coming down the east coast of Florida.
That's a long trek. My goodness, I didn't realize it. I don't know why I did. I just figured that they were out there, and they were out there in the deep, and then they come in every once in a while.
Well, yeah, they'll be in the Gulf Stream. The Gulf Stream is, in the Carolinas, though, it's about 30 or 40 miles. So.
Oh, my. It's 30 or 40 miles offshore?
Yeah, to get to the Gulf Stream. So.
Holy smokes. I think what we're
it's about the same in Jacksonville. It's not that much. It's about the same in Jacksonville, really. So.
We're pretty lucky where we're at, because I think it's only a couple of miles from here. 2 miles, 3 miles.
Well, I think the closest it gets is right off of Boynton and that area of Delray, and there are times of the year where you can actually see it from the beach. So.
Really?
Yeah.
Now that's news to me. I never realized that. My goodness. Well, with Boynton,
there's times when it's less than a mile offshore. So.
Boynton was one of my in my jet skiing days. So that was one of my favorite places to go. To ride that inlet, and a lot of big waves in there coming and going from the boats coming in and out, and to be able to see it from there would be pretty cool. That'd be pretty awesome. I've seen some pretty big sharks while we were traveling back and forth through that inlet. So some pretty big sharks out there.
That's a nasty inlet to get in and out of when you've got rough seas too.
Yeah,
so.
Yeah. Well, not for jet ski, but for boats it is. I've seen boats really have a horrendous time in there, but jet ski pretty much can get in and out pretty easily. It is a treacherous inlet. I don't know if anybody out there is familiar with the Boynton Inlet, but it is a treacherous inlet. It has this little...
Well, it's funneled down to such a small, narrow space that the current is just brutal.
Ripping, yeah. It just rips through there. It's amazing. It really is. It's something you have to be really careful with. And it's got that crazy curve to it, too. As you're coming out of the... coming from the backwater out into the ocean, it kind of curves out, and you're fighting not only are you fighting this really, really, really strong current, you're fighting this, trying to steer and turn your boat into so you don't run up against the rocks. Yeah, it's a pretty nasty one. Jupiter was another one that I enjoyed, but Jupiter's a lot wider. Oh, probably 10, 12 times wider than. So we didn't experience
this. A much easier inlet to get in and out of. Too,
didn't experience the waves like we did at Boynton. That's what I liked about Boynton, is that narrow opening and would really create some pretty big waves. Not so much fun for the boats, but a lot of fun for the for the jet skis. Anything you got planned going on this coming week?
Not really. For those who did know him, Ed Feldsot died on the 26th of December. Oh. Ed was the CEO of Folsom Corporation that owned Bimini Bay Outfitters, Tsunami Gear, Maxell USA fishing products. He was one of the people that helped us get the magazine started and was a great friend. So we're working on a tribute to him for the next issue of the magazine. I'll be working with several people on that next week, trying to get that finished for the next issue of the magazine. And Ed was a great man. He did a lot for the fishing industry. He was always there for tournaments and anything you needed. You know, if you needed captain's buckets for the tournaments, he'd supply everything. He was a great guy. He was great for the fishing industry, and he did a lot for all of us out there. So.
Well, condolences to the family and those that are related. Sorry to hear that. That's two people I know of, two good people that I know of that in the fishing industry that left us in 2019. The other was Peter Camerano, who had J-Cam Lures, and he helped quite a bit. He was an influential individual here in South Florida in the fishing industry.
And we lost Jeff Leone, a captain down in the Keys, and Tofiel Bourgeois, captain from the Louisiana. So.
Wow. Well, we move forward as we get into
year.
Yeah. As we get into 2020, we've got a lot to look forward to. It's a new year. It's a new show. Same.
There we go.
Same characters, but a new name and a new way to reach the people. We're going to be. We've got a new website, by the way. Let me mention that. We've got www.wcet.fm. That's our network station's website. You can go there to listen to the show. You can go to their Facebook page. We still do have the Facebook page. Facebook page will have Fish Florida posts from the past still on the page for anybody who's looking up some of the archives and stuff like that. But from this point forward, it will be Fishing in Florida, and that's how we're listed there. So you can find us on Facebook, Fishing in Florida. Give us a like if you haven't. That helps us remain relevant in the searches, and tell your friends. Now you can find us on, if you click on Contact Us on Facebook, that you can listen to us there. If you go to wcetfm.com, you can listen to us there, and we're working on a couple of other ways that people can listen in, either from their phone or on the web. I'll announce that probably next week. We're still kind of working that around to see how we can make all that function. In the meantime, we thank you for joining us. It's truly an honor and a privilege to have you with us. Tell your friends about the show. We'd like to get some more listeners in and share with everybody what we do. So today are you in the car yet?
Yes, we're in the car. Actually stopped for gas.
Awful quiet.
And
wow.
And we are headed for Jonathan Dickinson State Park.
Where do you
the mountain bike?
What's park. I was going to ask you what you plan on doing. You just answered me. You're going to be doing mountain biking?
Yep.
So I'm curious now. How are you dressed?
Very warm. Flannel shirt, T-shirt, several layers of clothing.
There we go. That's what I was waiting to hear. Layers of clothing. That's something I never really realized about until I was in the Air Force, and they sent me to Denver, Colorado. And it was snowing at the end of May. I mean, not snowing, snow flurrying at the end of May. It's snow flurrying. And I'm freezing my behind off out there and didn't know about the layering of clothes. And my instructor is laughing at me because I'm a Florida boy who's, the worst I was subjected to was probably maybe 40-degree weather. Here we are. It's snow flurrying, and I am just don't know what to do with myself. He explained to me about the layering. So, yes, layer your clothing, particularly on days like today when we got the wind out there, because you can dress warm, but if you're not layered, it blows right through you, and it feels like you got nothing on. You'd be freezing your behind off.
Yep. Well, we are prepared. We are dressed for the day. So
is this something you? Because a couple of times you told me you're headed to the park on Sunday. You do that normally? You usually go out to the park on Sunday?
A lot of the time, yeah.
Yeah, and it's mostly biking. You ever fish up there?
No, I have not been fishing there. There's a lot of kayakers go out of there, though. So I don't know that I've never seen a fishing kayak go out of there. But you're pretty far back in there. I would think you would have to go out to a couple of miles from where we are to get to decent fishing. Although I have seen snook breaking around the little area where you launch the kayaks.
Mm-hmm. Is that off of Indiantown? Is that where that's? I can't remember where that's at.
It's actually it's not quite the Indiantown Road. It's actually listed as being in Hobe Sound, not Jupiter.
Oh.
So you'd have to go a little bit north from Indiantown Road.
Only in Florida do we have a city called Jupiter. I remember telling somebody, I've got to go to Jupiter, and they just there was a moment of silence there, and I said, what's the matter?
Yeah. How are you planning on getting there? Yeah.
Yes, we have a town called Jupiter here in Florida, just north of where I'm at here in West Palm. It really is a town called Jupiter. My. All right, well, let's see. What else can we bring up this morning? We've got...
we're going to try to get all of the new archives on the website at Florida Fisherman Magazine. So
yes.
People will be able to keep up with the shenanigans of Mr. Riscala there.
So we're going to have a space on the Florida Fisherman Magazine. We'll have a page there.
We're just going to create a page for the show there.
Yeah.
So.
And the magazine is located at where?
www.flfishmag.com.
You know what I like about...
try to figure out how to get a link there, too, for the show so you can listen to it from there. So we'll
that would be great.
That out next week.
Yeah. What I like about the Florida Fisherman Magazine is that, first of all, we have the one and only Robert with us every week who donates his time. Thank you so much. I greatly appreciate that. But it's a digital magazine, so we're not, what's the word I'm looking for? Restricted to just pictures and text. We can have videos.
There's videos, links to websites. There's all sorts of stuff in the magazine.
It's a very flexible kind of, versus a printed magazine. It's very flexible. And there's always new information there. And all of the stories that are submitted by regular people. I mean, everyday people.
They're all from people who read the magazine. They're all from the readers, and so the readers build the magazine.
It's a subscriber-supported magazine that has a tremendous... the last one I saw was last month, and it was jam-packed full of information, pictures, videos. Oh my gosh, it's just those stories. Somewhere you can go when you've got some time to spend and get some really interesting stuff. So I really enjoy that, and I enjoy you stepping out and helping me during this transition time, because it's a little tough right now going from what we were to the new thing. And I don't have any question that we will be able to do it. But again, it's a little bit on the rough side.
We'll figure it out.
All right, well, we're at that magic moment where we're going to take a break. You're listening to the Fishing in Florida show, formerly the Fish Florida show, and we'll be right back. Don't go away.
You're listening to the Fish Florida show with your host, Riscala. Don't go away. We'll be right back.
What's up, Ricky Dillon here at the largest social media gathering in the world. So the internet is an amazing place, but sometimes it can be a not so great place with online bullying and trolling and stuff. Have you ever seen online bullying before?
Unfortunately, it's kind of common. Online, people can hide behind the internet. Those comment sections can be a little...
harsh.
Yeah,
definitely.
That's a good word for it.
I've been called many homophobic names.
I felt embarrassed. I felt humiliated. It made me stop liking myself.
What if I told you there is something that you can use anytime that you see bullying online that calls attention to it in a nice way? Like, hey, that's not nice.
I wish that was the thing.
It's this! So anytime that you see any kind of hate online, go into your phone, go into the symbol section, post this I, and it says that that's bullying. That's not nice. So would you post this if you saw someone bullying someone?
Oh yeah, definitely. It's like a lot more mature way to handle the situation.
Find the emoji in your phone, send it to 5 of your friends, and let them know what it means to be a witness.
Go to eyewitnessbullying.org to learn more about the emoji.
Thinking of moving? Before you do anything else, call Diane Whittick. She provides a concierge service. Things like having your home or condo packed and shipped, even take care of your home repairs or upgrades. Diane has the expertise to get it done. As a seller, you will have constant contact. She will furnish you with bids on any services that might need completion: air conditioning, plumbing, handyman, and even cleaning. Living up north and have a home to sell here in South Florida? Just give her the keys, address, and a signature. Your payment will be wired when the property is sold. That's right, Diane does it all. Thinking of buying? Diane has great listening skills. Tell her what you want, give her your budget, and like a genie, she will make your real estate wish come true. There's no regrets when you choose Diane Whittick. To reach Diane, call 561-247-5478. That's 561-247-5478.
We just finished dinner and it was time for homework. He hates homework.
It makes no sense.
I don't know how he finds anything in his backpack.
I can't find my backpack.
I couldn't even read his handwriting.
Holding the pencil makes my hand hurt.
I know he's bright.
Why is it so hard for me?
He's
I'm
just
trying
gotta
as
try a
hard
little
as
harder.
I can.
When you can see learning and attention issues from their side, you can be on their side. Go to understood.org, a free online resource with support and tools to help your child thrive.
Do you have an unusual pet? Did you know that the Rainforest Clinic in Loxahatchee specializes in exotic pets? They see pets that other vets don't. Parrots and chickens, ducks, geese, turtles, snakes, goats, pigs, lizards, and even monkeys. Are you a beekeeper? Dr. Clubb, the first of her kind in the area? Yes, she takes care of bees as well. Dr. Susan Clubb has decades of experience and known around the world for her reputation as a premier avian vet. Located at 3319 E Road in Loxahatchee, just a short distance north of Okeechobee Road, you will find a modern clinic with in-house labs, which allow you to get your test answers quickly. You can find them online at www.susanclub.com. That's www.susanclubb.com. Or you can reach her at 561-795-4878. It's Dr. Susan Clubb. That's 561-795-4878. The Rainforest Clinic located in Loxahatchee. 561-795-4878.
I grab my fishing pole and cast it in the water. I fish until dawn. Oh my, I caught a shark. I'm fishing in Florida when the sun shines all day. They call me a grouper. So I'm fishing in Florida. Oh yeah.
It's the Fish Florida Show with your host, Rachael Stevens, bringing the outdoors to you every Sunday morning, 8 to 10 a.m. And now your host, Rachael Stevens.
All right, we are back. It is the Fishing in Florida Show, formerly the Fish Florida Show. We are no longer affiliated with the Fish Florida Group or the association, and we've been asked to step aside, which we're doing, but we're continuing doing the show, which is now called the Fishing in Florida Show. Welcome. Thank you for taking the time to tune in. This morning I have Robert Warner. He is with the Florida Fisherman Magazine as my co-host. Thank you, Robert. Greatly appreciate you taking the time to do that.
Love doing it.
And enjoy having you on, my friend. You know, time and time again, you've stepped up and been there and given us all kinds of information, from tournaments that are going on to fishing reports to just information that we can use from day to day, and I greatly appreciate that.
Well, it's nice to be able to talk to people who are involved in the fishing world, and it's nice to just be around the people that do the things.
It's a great industry. It's a great group of people. In the 3 years that I've been doing what I've been doing, we've met a lot of really, really very down-to-earth, very trying to think of a word that would probably describe them. Caring people, I guess, might be a good word. You know, they just care. They care about the industry. They care about people. They care about what's going on with our planet and with regard to our resources. Just a good group of people all around, and I'm honored to be a part of that.
I have met a great bunch of people with the magazine and stuff, and there's some great folks out there, and they're like you said, they're concerned about the environment. They're concerned about releasing the fish and keeping only what you intend to eat.
And I've
good stuff going on out there.
In the 3 years that I've been doing it, I have learned quite a bit because I never pretend that I am a pro at this. I'm an absolute amateur at it. But some of the stuff that I have learned really has stuck with me. One of them, I just don't know who I was talking to, and they showed me a picture. Their son just caught a snook, and they were holding the snook parallel to the ground, which, most times you see somebody holding a fish, or got it by the mouth, and are holding it by the mouth, and it's perpendicular to the ground. And I mentioned to him, I said, do you know that I learned by doing this show that the way your son is holding that fish is actually the way you're supposed to hold a fish. You're supposed to support them. Because you could actually harm the fish if you did it the other way.
Yeah, especially the bigger ones. Yep.
So I, again,
ones, it's not so bad, but the bigger they get, you don't want them. You don't want them vertical.
So it's always learning a variety of different things that I've learned. Pam shared with the listeners many times some of the techniques that she uses. She primarily fishes artificial. And she does a jam-up job. She puts some of the men to shame with some of the stuff that she comes up with. So that kind of stuff, we're always sharing that kind of thing. We have people on that are amateurs that share what they do. We have people on that are professionals that share what they do. And the bottom line is the purpose of the show from the beginning and will be is to offer families an option to do something out there as a family and get away from all that. The technology and all that's great. But to get away from all that for a little while and enjoy what God has given you. We have water on 3 sides of us in the state. If you're somebody who doesn't like water, you're in the wrong state because it's not only on 3 sides. We have thousands and thousands of lakes and canals. And so if this is one of this is one of the states where water is just everywhere here. I mean, water's our second nature. So learn to appreciate what you got. We have people out there who help take care of what we got. And then we have people like us who come on and tell you, hey, this is what you can do today. So some of the ideas that we have. These are some of the techniques.
Teach your kids to fish early. Teach your kids to fish early and teach them to swim early.
Yeah. So swimming. Yeah. Swimming we could do a whole show on. Unfortunately, there are many, many children out there who do not know how to swim. And that is a very dangerous thing here in Florida. Again.
It is in this state. So
with all the water that we have around us, that is something that really, really needs the parent's attention, and that is the ability for your child to be able to, God forbid, they fall in the water or they jump in the water. Some of them just jump. They don't know any better. They just jump in the water, and then they realize, oh, my gosh. So, swimming is very important. But back to the fishing. We've got water 3 sides of the state. We've got lakes all over the place. We've got canals. We've got backwater. If you're in an area that you think is good for fishing. I did this a while back. We didn't get very many calls, but I will start doing it again. If you want to report where you're at, what's happening where you're at, maybe we'll do that in the future. We'll open up the phone lines. We'll let people call in. And I'm here. And
I think that would be great to have more people be able to call in. That would be great.
Yeah, so, we'll leave a portion of the show open for that. People can call in and tell us what's going on in your neighborhood. What kind of fishing is happening? Are you doing freshwater, brackwater, saltwater, offshore, that kind of thing? And try to get a little more variety in there. I'm kind of waiting for Betty. I was expecting Betty Bowman to call with Ladies Let's Go Fishing. I don't know what's happened. Hopefully we'll hear from her in just a moment. So again, it's kind of, I think you're the one who said this, Robert. You put down the Xbox and pick up the tackle box. And for me, fishing for me, my mom, fortunately, my mom loved fishing. So we would go fishing as a family and do it all as a family, experience it as a family. And there were many times, probably majority of the times, we would eat what we caught. We would go fishing, we would catch it, I would help clean it. My dad would cook it, so it was everybody involved. Everybody played their little part, and as a result of that, I really believe that activity helped our family stay together. Because there's an attack on families. There's no doubt about it. It's not a hypothetical statement. There's an attack on the family today, greater than ever before. And for me, it's about keeping the family together. We spend one day every week as a family. They're all grown. All my kids are grown, but we take out one day. They typically come to my home, and we'll cook a dinner. We'll enjoy each other's company for one day of every week, because whatever we can do to retain that family structure, to me, is important. I think that what really makes America great, and not to be political, what makes America great are the people and the families. So we work on giving you an option to do, and that's why I do what I do. I enjoy doing the fishing show because it gives people an option, gives families an option. If we have a lot of single parents out there, and they're kind of at their wits' end, what do I do? You know, their children are having difficulties maybe in school or relationships. Take them out fishing for a while. Get them away from all. Get them to forget about all that and to experience what God has given us. We've got, my gosh, bazillions of places that you can go, and it's not very expensive. Pam was telling me one day she thought the cane poles were $19.95. I think I found a place online they're like $9 or $10. So for under $20, I would think that you could actually go out and have a much more enjoyable time than maybe going to a movie or something like that, where you're both not involved with each other. You know, you go to a movie, you're watching a movie. When you're going fishing, you're involved with each other. What are you catching? I don't know. Did you get a bite? You know, what kind of bait you using? That kind of thing. So for me, it's about building relationships. It's about keeping the family together. Fishing is an excellent opportunity to do that. What do you think, Robert?
Well, absolutely. One of the reasons we started the magazine was due to the unfortunate number of single moms out there these days. And, being able to get more women out fishing at this point in the fishing world is being able to get more kids out fishing. So we have pursued that since the beginning. I don't know, everybody that follows the magazine probably knows who Sherilyn and Lewis Arnold are. They do the family fishing section for us in the magazine every month. These are a husband and wife, 3 kids. The kids have been fishing since they were old enough to get on a boat. And they do that section for us every month. We've got a lot of single moms that are involved in fishing, and they send in reports, and it's all good. Katie Jo Davis is a great example. She's a great lady. She lives over on the West Coast somewhere. She's got a son who she named Fisher, and she takes fishing as often as possible, and she fishes all over the state. And
wow!
But there's a lot of people out there that are getting more and more involved as just a way to keep their kids away from the electronics for a while and get them out in the sunshine and doing something that they end up liking to do anyway. So,
you know, the electronics are all fine and dandy, but there's more and more evidence coming out that it's really not good for you to be around them all the time. It really is not. It's particularly these cell phones that we carry with us. A lot of us have these cell phones with us 24/7. It's really not good to have that thing on your body all that time. It's constantly emitting radiation. And this is a way to get away from all that. Leave the cell phones in the car and just go fishing. And if they ring, hey,
well, you tell me that while I've got this thing stuck to my ear. Am I going to die?
There was a time when people did without cell phones, believe it or not. I remember as technology began to move forward quicker and quicker, I carried a beeper. Remember them? I carried a beeper for a while.
I had one.
And if somebody needed to reach me, it didn't have the luxury of just calling me up. They had to ring a particular line, and then I had to find a place to stop and make a phone call because we didn't have cell phones. We didn't have cell phones back then. So the point I'm trying to make is they can live without you for a few minutes. You can go out there and enjoy yourself, enjoy the environment. And what comes with that is this strange peace, for me anyway, this peaceful feeling that you feel when you're out there and you're just kind of enjoying what God has given us. Today's going to be as we warm up, I think we're probably close to 70 degrees already. I have to check, but the last I looked, we had already hit 68. So as today warms up, it's going to be one of those days we're at 68 degrees still. Gosh, wonderful day to go. It may not be nice.
Got to the park, it's the same temperature here. So
it may not be nice to get wet because I don't like getting wet when it's cold, but it is going to be a nice day to be out there in the sunshine and enjoying it. You know, whether it's bicycling, whether it's fishing, whatever that might be for the day to day. I don't think it's going to be boating because of the winds. We have some pretty heavy winds where I'm at, so I can imagine what it would be like
It'll
out there.
Be inshore boating if it's boating, that's for sure.
Or maybe lakes.
You don't want to be out there. I took a look at it this morning. It's supposed to be about 8-foot seas today.
Oh,
so
wow!
That's not a day when you want to be out there. So
yeah, I didn't look up the marine forecast this morning, but it looking like 8 feet, I don't think I'd want to be anywhere near that nonsense. Stay away from that. But, you can always enjoy it from the best place there is. That's from the shore. You won't get seasick.
That's a fact. That's a fact.
All right. Well, let's see. I was kind of expecting Betty to call in. She may be having issues this morning. So what we'll do is we'll go on to, let me see. I was going to, well, I lost it. I had something I was going to bring up on my computer, but I've lost the page. Let me go ahead and take a break. Let me see if I can get this back on. I was going to bring this up while we were waiting for Betty to call. So I'll take a quick break and we'll be right back. You're listening to the Fishing in Florida Show, formerly the Fish Florida Show. Don't go away. We won't be gone long.
I'll be back in a couple minutes.
Okay.
The Fish Florida Show with your host, Rachael. Don't go away. We'll be right back.
What's up, Ricky Dillon here at the largest social media gathering in the world. So the internet is an amazing place, but sometimes it can be a not so great place with online bullying and trolling and stuff. Have you ever seen online bullying before?
Unfortunately, it's kind of common. Online, people can hide behind the internet. Those comment sections can be a little
harsh.
Yeah,
definitely.
That's a good word for it.
I've been called many homophobic names.
I felt embarrassed. I felt humiliated. It made me stop liking myself.
What if I told you there is something that you can use anytime that you see bullying online that calls attention to it in a nice way? Like, hey, that's not nice.
I wish that was the thing.
It's this! So anytime that you see any kind of hate online, go into your phone, go into the symbol section, post this I, and it says that that's bullying. That's not nice. So would you post this if you saw someone bullying someone?
Oh yeah, definitely. It's like a lot more mature way to handle the situation. Find the emoji in your phone, send it to 5 of your friends, and let them know what it means to be a witness.
Go to eyewitnessbullying.org to learn more about the emoji.
Thinking of moving? Before you do anything else, call Diane Whittick. She provides a concierge service. Things like having your home or condo packed and shipped, even take care of your home repairs or upgrades. Diane has the expertise to get it done. As a seller, you will have constant contact. She will furnish you with bids on any services that might need completion: air conditioning, plumbing, handyman, and even cleaning. Living up north and have a home to sell here in South Florida? Just give her the keys, address, and a signature. Your payment will be wired when the property is sold. That's right, Diane does it all. Thinking of buying? Diane has great listening skills. Tell her what you want, give her your budget, and like a genie, she will make your real estate wish come true. There's no regrets when you choose Diane Whittick. To reach Diane, call 561-247-5478. That's 561-247-5478.
We just finished dinner and it was time for homework. He hates homework.
It makes no sense.
I don't know how he finds anything in his backpack.
I can't find my backpack.
I couldn't even read his handwriting.
Holding the pencil makes my hand hurt.
I know he's bright.
Why is it so hard for me?
He's
I'm
just
trying
gotta
as
try a
hard
little
as
harder.
I can.
When you can see learning and attention issues from their side, you can be on their side. Go to understood.org, a free online resource with support and tools to help your child thrive.
Do you have an unusual pet? Did you know that the Rainforest Clinic in Loxahatchee specializes in exotic pets? They see pets that other vets don't. Parrots and chickens, ducks, geese, turtles, snakes, goats, pigs, lizards, and even monkeys. Are you a beekeeper? Dr. Clubb, the first of her kind in the area? Yes, she takes care of bees as well. Dr. Susan Clubb has decades of experience and known around the world for her reputation as a premier avian vet. Located at 3319 E Road in Loxahatchee, just a short distance north of Okeechobee Road, you will find a modern clinic with in-house labs, which allow you to get your test answers quickly. You can find them online at www.susanclub.com. That's www.susanclub.com. Or you can reach her at 561-795-4878. It's Dr. Susan Clubb. That's 561-795-4878. The Rainforest Clinic located in Loxahatchee. 561-795-4878.
I grabbed my fishing pole and cast it in the water. I fish until dawn.
It's the Fish Florida Show with your host, Rachael Stevens, bringing the outdoors to you every Sunday morning, 8 to 10 a.m. And now your host, Rachael Stevens.
All right. We are back. It is the Fishing in Florida Show, formerly the Fish Florida Show. We are no longer associated with the Fish Florida Group, and we are carrying on as the Fishing in Florida Show. We'll have my next guest, hopefully, will be coming on here shortly. In the meantime, I have Robert Warner. He is with the Florida Fisherman Magazine. He has been kind enough to step in and help co-host this morning. My regular co-host, Pam Worth, she is involved in a couple of tournaments. She's taking a break. She'll be gone at least 4 weeks, at which time she may come back or may not. Either way, we'll hear from her one way or another. She'll probably call in with a fishing report, and we'll find out what's going on the West Coast. In the meantime, let me get Robert back on here. Are you at?
I'm back.
Have you made it to your destination?
We've made it to the destination. We have unloaded the bikes. We have done all of that. So,
and now you're getting ready to go bicycle around. How big is that park, by the way?
Oh, it's huge. I would guess it's probably close to 10 miles long and 4 or 5 miles wide.
Wow, I didn't think it was that big. So it's
huge.
You can spend quite a bit of time bicycling in there.
Well, there's actual bike paths in here. The mountain bike trails take up about 8 miles. So they're about 8 miles long altogether.
Mm-hmm.
And then the rest of the park, I don't know, you probably, if you rode the whole park up and back and rode all the trails, it's probably 30 or 40 miles in the.
My goodness.
To ride all the trails.
No, I haven't been there in quite a while, but from what I remember, I think it was relatively inexpensive to get in. You pay by the car, right? It doesn't matter how many people in it.
Yeah, it's $4 for the car. So.
Yeah. So you could have 8 people in a car. My gosh, it's literally nothing to go in and enjoy. It's been quite some time since I've been there, but I remember it as a really just a beautiful place to be.
It's a great park. It's very well maintained. It's got some great campgrounds for people that like to go camping. It's got a lot going on here. There's where I'm at right now is about a mile from the river, but there's a path that goes straight from here down to the river where they have tour boats that'll take you out on the river, and you can launch kayaks, and there's even a snack bar now. So.
Oh my. And you can you still barbecue there? They used to have, again, it's been a while. Yeah. So you can go and barbecue and
Absolutely.
Again, it's spending time with the family. That's probably the best investment.
Here at the mountain bike trails, they do bonfires and stuff too. They'll have small ones, but they'll do fires, and they do barbecues here,
and you can fish there as well, right? From what I remember.
You can fish here.
Yeah.
I have not ever fished here, but yes, you can. So.
What do you think is back in there? What kind of fishing do you think is going on?
Well, I know there's snook back in here because I can see them. If you just take this trail down to the end where they launch the kayaks and stuff, there's a little island out in the middle of there, and you can see the snook hitting the top water around the little island out there. So.
Wow.
I know there's snook in here.
So at least, at the very least, you're going to be able to catch some snook. And usually where there's snook, there's, what was I thinking of? There's, gosh.
Well, there would normally be redfish, but I don't know that
redfish
we're in a good area for that. So.
And I was surprised to hear that we have redfish on the side of the state. I think so. You were the one who was telling me south of us, they really don't go, right?
No, until you get down to the Keys. Once you get to the backwater down in the Keys on the Everglades side, there's a lot of them.
But between here and there, few and far between.
There's just no habitat for them. Like I think it was Pam that was telling us all that, there's just no habitat between here and there for them, so they sort of skip a few areas. So.
Wow. Oh, okay. Well, let's see. I was looking for Betty. She didn't call in. I'm looking for my next guest, and they haven't called in yet. So we're not batting too good this morning. What a way to start off the new year.
It's the You and Me show?
Huh?
It's the You and Me show?
Yeah, it's going to be. That's what it sounds like. Here we go. We've got, looks like I've got Betty Bowman on. Is that you, Betty? 9-5?
No, this is Joe Hector with Extreme Kayak.
Oh, Joe, hey. I saw the 954. I know Betty was 954. So good morning, Joe. How are you?
Good, man. How's it going?
We're doing well. We're not batting too good with regard to guests this morning. I don't know. Maybe they're still dragging from the new year, but anyway, welcome.
Oh yeah, I'm sure, man. Yeah, I mean, even us, with everything, it's everything's slow at this point right now. Until a couple weeks, because everyone's still in that holiday mode. You know what I mean?
Yep. And now Joe he produces the Extreme Kayak tournaments. He's going to tell us a little bit about what's the latest going on with the Extreme Kayak tournaments.
Sure. Yeah. So first, I appreciate you having me on. I always enjoy talking with you guys, and I don't know if Pam's on with you, but shout out to Pam as well for always looking out for us.
Yeah, Pam is taking a break. She's involved in 4 different tournaments, so she's going to be gone for at least 4 weeks.
Okay.
But go ahead. Let's hear about what the latest is.
Yeah. So our tournaments, we have the Sailfish Smackdown, which is the nation's only kayak billfish tournament, and that's taking place in Pompano Beach. And that's going to be January 18th and 19th. So that's literally like 2.5 weeks away. And we're stoked. Something new that we added to that tournament, besides all the prize money that we have, is that so this tournament, and we implemented this last year. And what happens is, so in case people that don't know my events, we have the Summer Slam Series, and that takes place in the summer. And the winner of that series wins a big, fat, extreme kayak fishing tournament ring, like a championship ring. Think of the Super Bowl ring. That's the size of this ring, and it's beautiful. The guy that makes it, Hef Jones, he actually created the Super Bowl ring for the Colts when they won their Super Bowl. So,
oh my! Wow.
We got great people making this ring. And what we implemented this year was the Sailfish Smackdown will now be part of that series. Now, a lot of people ask, well, how? Because, your Summer Slam is a meat tournament. It's, you have a stage, you catch fish, and, obviously you kill them. With the Sailfish Smackdown, that's our catch release tournament. But how we're implementing it is any kayak angler that lands and releases a sailfish will get 10 pounds added to their total weight for the end of the year. And
well, that's cool.
And I think it's a great way to add a totally different type of species and tournament to the series to add to, how difficult it is to win it. And, I think what's also great is obviously the Sailfish Smackdown is a catch and release tournament. And it's a great way to kind of showcase that, hey, you can have these series and with billfish and meatfish and still have it to where, someone wins that prize at the end of the year, mixing those two. So I think it'll be great. I think anglers are going to love it. And when we implemented this last year, this is the cool part. Sean Rolls ended up winning the whole series last year. And it was a very, very close series. It came down to like literally a couple pounds. And
wow.
So one sailfish can make a difference.
Oh yeah. So what happened was Sean Rolls ended up fishing all the tournaments that year, and he got second place in the Sailfish Smackdown with his sailfish. That sailfish put him over the top by like a pound.
Oh my.
The whole series. And,
wow.
And I knew that was going to happen. I called it, after that tournament. I'm like, you know what? One of these guys is going to win it by that sailfish. I guarantee it. And it ended up really happening. And, that really showcased for these guys when I announced that on stage, when we presented the ring, they were all like bug-eyed, like, holy crap. That's really important to.
Well, yeah, if somebody can catch and release 2 sailfish in the course of your tournament, that's 20 extra pounds.
Yeah, man.
That's awesome.
Exactly. And I think it'll be great for the series. So, yeah, that's something new that we added. Just so anglers do know, first place is $5,000, and that's donated from Yak Gear and Turbo USA, 2 of our main sponsors. And second place is $2,000, and that's from Nautical Ventures, and which is also one of our main sponsors as well. And third place is $1,000, and that's from Ram. They're one of our new sponsors now, and Dodge Ram. And fourth place is $500, fifth place is $250. So it's cash all the way down the board. We also have a fun $500 mahi-mahi division, and that's also sponsored by Nautical Ventures. So, we're going to have other species of fish. We're going to have the Kingfish Calcutta, like we do every year for that tournament. And that's hard to win because anglers that fish the Sailfish Smackdown have to use clear leader, mono leader, and a circle hook. Oh. So if you're going to win that, you definitely put in the work.
You just said something that's curious to me.
Yeah, Kingfish on a mono leader. Yeah, that's working.
And it's happened. That's the beauty of it. We've had guys.
Well, if you hook them right, if you hook them right, you're good. So.
Oh yeah. We had one year where a guy got a 40-pound wahoo on a circle hook in mono. Unbelievable.
So here's my curiosity here. Something that you said in the tournament, are you specifying the kind of line as well as the leader and all that? Is that part of the tournament as well?
No, sailfish tournaments are.
Yeah. So what's part of the tournament is anglers, their max leader length is going to be 15 foot. And we have guys on the beach that are checking that. No one is allowed to use stinger rigs, J hooks, wire. And we have that in the rules pretty clearly. And we even have guys in the morning. We have our whole committee that checks everyone's kayaks to make sure, everyone is going out there without any of those gear. We make sure that they don't even bring it out with them.
Wow.
Because obviously we can't.
Circle hooks have been a part of billfish tournaments for a long time now. So.
Yeah.
So I was surprised that you, I guess, trying to figure out the best way to describe it. You're laying out how the lines are supposed to be. And in other words, you just can't go, I'm involved in this tournament and I can use whatever I want to catch the fish. There are, even with the tackle, there are limitations.
Correct. Yeah.
That's
and
pretty
we even
neat.
have guys with tape measures that, they'll measure, their leader. And even when these guys, so they're also, they have to document their sailfish. So let's say you hook up to a sailfish. We have multiple help boats out there. We even have spy boats that people don't know about. But we have multiple boats out there for this event because, everything takes place on the water. And it's a 2-day tournament. And SA is one of our help boat sponsors. They're also our apparel sponsor. But they supply 3 boats that literally circle around. If you can kind of picture this in your mind from above, they circle around the big group of these kayaks because, obviously these kayaks in the open water, they can't just run to the Bahamas. You know what I mean? So It's pretty easy for these guys to kind of circle around the big groups. We set our boats at different locations, and wherever the drift is, there'll be a boat that way. There'll be a boat kind of in the school of anglers, and there'll be a boat on the other end as well. There'll also be a spy boat in shallow, and there'll be a couple spy boats out there with binoculars as well. But when someone lands a sailfish, they have to call it in. Radios are mandatory for this tournament, and you have to call in that fish. That's also mandatory. So when you call in that fish, the boat goes, we document that catch. We make sure that the leader length is correct and that the circle hook is still on there. And then we also, if the fish needs it, we also assist in the release of the sailfish after it's landed, just because the fish's survival is paramount for our event as well.
That's a whole lot easier from a power boat than a kayak too. So
exactly, and you got to remember everything is kind of based on time. So an angler that caught one sailfish, they're going to want to hook, get everything ready and kind of stay in that depth and go for that second sail to get over the top. So, and you only have a certain amount of time to do all this. So yeah, a lot of guys will just say, hey, take my fish, release it so that they don't have to spend all that time releasing that sailfish.
Yeah. I I like the idea of protecting resources, making sure you're using circle hooks, making sure that the fish is released instead of, and giving them extra credit. That I like that. We have a couple of different people that come on the show that deal with our resources, that help with the resources. CCA of Florida and Ocean 8360 are two of them that come to mind. When they talk about what they're doing, it's the kind of thing that warms my heart, just like what I'm hearing from you. They're worried about the resource. Not worried isn't. They're concerned about the resources. They're respectful, and they're caring about the resources, and they go out of their way to help the rest of us. Everybody benefits from what they're doing. So what you're saying in releasing these fish and giving people an extra credit, so to speak, for releasing the fish, everybody benefits, because we're not killing a fish just for a sport per se, which is something I've never really understood.
Sure.
And it helps in the resources of what we have. This fish is now free to go, and who knows, maybe come back and bite again another day. Who knows? But the point being is that we're responsible in the sense that we're allowing these fish, we're giving somebody an incentive to allow this fish to live. I like that. That's pretty cool.
Thank you. Yeah, I think it's very important. And, let's face it, over the years, I remember hearing stories from captains, in the 90s, and they said that, these sailfish seasons were unbelievable back then. I mean, you would get 25 to 30 in a day. Nowadays it doesn't really happen like that. I mean, it does on certain boats, with captains that really know what they're doing. But it's not what it used to be. And I think one of the big things that saved us was getting rid of those long liners off our coast.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I think that happened, what was that, 3 years ago, 4 years ago?
3 or 4, yeah. It's about 4 years ago now. So.
Right. And we saw the difference. I mean, we saw it instantly. It's very important to protect these species, and we do everything in our power to make sure that happens. So when anglers do fish this tournament, just know that's something that's important to us, as well as safety.
So while we've got a couple of minutes, let's just kind of go over the next tournament.
That one is the 18th, right? You said that's the 18th?
Yeah, that's the 18th and 19th of January. It's going to be a Saturday and Sunday. We even have our kickoff party is going to be Friday, and that's the 17th. That'll be at Brews Room in Pompano Beach, and that'll be the first one of the year. So usually that party's rocking. And what's great about that is we also have a huge raffle. And Nautical Ventures actually donated a decked-out, awesome fishing paddleboard as the main prize for that raffle. It's worth about $3,000.
Wow.
And then we also have Costa sunglasses. We got Garmin GPS units. We got some really good quality stuff in that raffle, and that's to benefit the Broward's Children's Center. And we've been working with them now for almost 10 years. So. It's great to work with them, and the money we've raised for them over the years has been awesome. And we really want to thank the anglers that have fished our event for this will be our 10th year putting on the Extreme Kayak Fishing.
Congratulations! Wow.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Wow.
That is evidence that you do a great job. So.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Not going to happen for 10 years if something's not happening. You know what I'm saying? And people are.
And another awesome thing, real quick, I want to add in there is most of our sponsors, especially our main sponsors, we've had that whole time. And I think nowadays that's pretty rare too. We're not just some tournament that goes through sponsors every year. We have a real relationship with the people we work with. They obviously get the return or they wouldn't be here, but it's also a relationship.
Yeah.
And I think that's important as well.
So, something to be said about loyalty. So if anybody wants to get involved in this, Joe, before we run out of time here, how do we do that? How do we get the information out? If somebody wants to get involved in the tournament.
Sure. You go to, there's many ways. You can go to extremekayakfishing.com. And everything will be right there. We designed the website. We actually redid the whole website for this year, so it looks really nice and clean. You could just hit that Sailfish Smackdown tab, and it'll give you all the information like scheduling and everything else. or you can find us on social media. Our Instagram is at Extreme Kayak Fishing, one word. We also own hashtags like Extreme Kayak Fishing Tournament, Extreme Kayak Fishing, and EKFT. Or you can find us on Facebook, which is Extreme Kayak Fishing Inc. Or you can go to our group. We created a Who's Going to the Sailfish Smackdown group, and you can check out information there. Or we also created a event page for it, which is just Sailfish Smackdown. So there's plenty of ways to check us out, and I'm always there. I answer all the messages fairly fast. So if anyone has any questions, they can also send me a message through Facebook personally, which is just Joe Hector, or they can go to my Instagram, joe.hector.kayak.
All right,
Perfect.
my friend. Well, thank you so much for taking time to call in. Let me give Robert an opportunity to say goodbye to you, and then we're going to go to a break. I wish you an awesome day, Joe.
Thank you.
Well, you
so
do a
much,
great
man.
job with these tournaments, Joe. You really do, and we'll try to help get the word out. So,
Thank you, guys. Hey, I really appreciate you having me on as always. And yeah, man, are you guys fishing today, or
No.
what you doing? It sounds like you're out there.
I'm at a mountain bike park today. So,
Nice.
Yeah, he's enjoying the outdoors while I'm inside, nice and warm. Thank you very much. I'm a real Florida guy.
All right.
All right, here we
I'm
go.
a Jersey guy, so I'm outside without a shirt right now.
Oh my gosh. Oh.
You're listening to the Fish Florida Show with your host, Riskella. Don't go away. We'll be right back.
From the author of Silent Steps and Haunted, Finding an Explanation for the Unknown, comes a story so chilling it will haunt you for years to come. Krista is a young woman escaping her past, running away from her family, her traumas, and her God, hoping to find a new life in a different town. But when she is forced to make a horrible choice, she comes to realize malevolent entities have controlled the true darkness she has been a part of. That is when her real terror begins. Penitence is disturbing and evocative. It will tear down the walls between what is real and what is nightmare. Penitence is the new novel by the man called the new master of speculative fiction, Ira Robinson. Find it and all of his books at his website, originalworlds.com.
Do you own a laser printer, copier, or a fax? Well then, listen close to this announcement. Laser Technologies has been providing high-quality, frustration-free toner cartridges that are guaranteed not to harm your equipment for over 20 years. Laser Technologies will save you on your supplies with high-quality and fast delivery. Savings up to 50%. Laser Technologies supplies toner, imaging drums, developer and cartridges for most of the major brands. For a price quote, send an email to service@laser-technologies.com. Include your printer make and model for your part number. Call us at 561-792-9600. That's 561-792-9600. Laser Technologies, providing 100% of the quality at a fraction of the price. 561-792-9600.
Want to give your pet the celebrity treatment? Have you heard of Holly Wolf Pet Grooming and Care in Royal Palm Beach? They're located just off State Road 7 and have been servicing the area for 14 years. Holly Wolf Pet Grooming and Care is the home of the Blueberry Facial, also specializing in tartar removal with 8 years of assisting in dental procedures. Holly Wolf Pet Grooming and Care? They're more than just about dogs. They are the only experienced cat groomer in the area. They also cater to all breeds and sizes and open 6 days a week. Holly Wolf Pet Grooming and Care, located just north of the Super Walmart in Royal Palm Beach. You can find them at 250 Business Parkway. They specialize in shampoos with no extra charge. Flea and tick dips also available. Holly Wolf Pet Grooming and Care. You can give them a call at 561-793-9992. They also provide gift certificates for those looking for that special present. Holly Wolf Pet Grooming and Care. 561-793-9992. They're located in Royal Palm Beach. That number, 561-793-9992. Call for your appointment today. 561-793-9992. Holly Wolf Pet Grooming and Care, where your pet gets celebrity treatment.
Can I tell you a cat joke? Just kidding. Why did the girl ask the mushroom to dance? Because he was a fun guy. What do you call a pig that knows karate? Pork chop. Why was the basketball court all wet? Why? Because the players kept dribbling all over it. Can I tell you another one? So how does a tissue dance? Put a little boogie on it. What's Beethoven's favorite fruit? Banana. What is a boxer's favorite drink? Fruit punch.
Dad joke. Corny, groan-worthy, but also one of the simplest ways to share a moment with your kids.
What did the buffalo say when he dropped his son off at school? Bye, son.
So take a moment to make your kid laugh, because dad jokes rule. Make your kid laugh today. Go to fatherhood.gov. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services and the Ad Council.
I grabbed my fishing pole and cast it in the water. I fish until dawn. Oh my, I caught a shark. I'm fishing in Florida when the sun shines all day. They call me a grouper. So I'm fishing in Florida. Oh yeah.
It's the Fish Florida Show with your host, Rachael Stevens, bringing the outdoors to you every Sunday morning, 8 to 10 a.m. And now your host, Rachael Stevens.
All right, we are back. It is the Fishing in Florida Show, formerly the Fish Florida Show. We are no longer affiliated with the group. We've broken off and doing our own thing, and they're doing their own thing. So welcome, and thank you for taking the time to tune in. This morning I have with me Robert Warner. He is with the Florida Fisherman Magazine. He's helping me co-host this morning. Pam Worth, who is my usual co-host, she is out there doing her thing. She's going to be fishing for the next 4 weeks that I'm aware of, and then she might be calling in and giving us fishing reports from the West Coast. So we'll know what's going on the West Coast as well. So welcome back, Robert. Thank you, my friend.
I am back.
So, you know, it's
and one of the things Joe Hector was talking about, the circle hooks, has been probably the single biggest great idea in sailfish tournaments that has come about, and that came about, I don't know, 4 or 5 years ago now. But the fact that they use circle hooks, they have killed so many less fish that it's awesome.
Wow.
It's a great move. All sailfish tournaments are now required to use circle hooks, which is a great thing.
Wish I was the guy that invented it. Well, you know what? It's 2020. This is the first week of 2020, and a lot of people have made resolutions. Have you made resolutions for the new year?
No.
Good. Good.
No, I found that all I do is break them anyway, so why make them? So.
Well, there are a lot of people out there who do make resolutions for the new year, and I'm this year I didn't, but many years I did, and the most common one, of course, was for me was I'm going to lose some weight this year, so I'm going to eat healthy. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do the other, and we know that seafood, generally speaking, is healthy food. So I thought it might be nice to have my next guests on who are, you know, I think you could say just a little familiar. So let me bring them on, and we'll let them kind of explain it. It is Margaret and Rachael Covello, and they are with the Fishmonger approved Florida Seafood Magazine, fishmongerapproved.com. Welcome, ladies. Thank you.
Good morning. Good morning. Thanks for having us
Good
back
morning.
again.
And I know that you guys
Good morning. Nice to meet you.
Yeah, I have.
Nice to meet you.
I have Pam is out there fishing, so she's not able to call me this morning. So, but I know you guys are on the West Coast. What's it like on the West Coast today?
It's chilly today. It's about 50 degrees and very breezy. I don't know what she's doing out there, but it's pretty windy to be out there.
I don't think I'd be enjoying it much. I'm a Florida boy from the heart. So, you know, we thought that I thought it might be a good idea to have you guys on because you guys are all about seafood. And we think of, I think anyway, I may be wrong, but I think one of the most common resolutions for the New Year's, I want to lose some weight, I want to be a little healthier, I want to eat healthier. And I think a lot of that revolves around seafood. And, quite honestly, you were the first people that came to mind when that idea came up into my head. So I wanted to have you come on and share with us. What do you see for healthy eating for 2020?
Well, just like you in years past, I'm on that New Year's resolution healthy eating kick myself. This is Rachael. Margaret always looks super healthy, but that's my resolution this year. And so since we run a seafood magazine, I thought it would be fitting that I focus more this year on a pescatarian diet, which would traditionally be focused more on seafood and vegetables and those healthier foods. So what we're going to do, we thought we'd break this up into two focuses, one on cooking, how to cook healthier for the new year, some recipe ideas, and I'll let Margaret cover that. She's usually the one in the kitchen. And then my specialty really more is dining out and what to look for when you're dining out when it comes to seafood and how to pick healthier options. So you ready to cook and dine out?
I'm ready.
Absolutely.
I'm really interested in your tips about when I go out, because there are times that I don't think I'm eating what I was told I'm eating. So I'm interested in hearing that.
Yeah. All right. Well, you're going to have to wait for a minute. So Margaret's going to focus on some of the cooking stuff.
Okay.
Because, one of the other New Year's resolutions this time of year is to save money and spend better, spend smarter. So, of course, cooking at home can help with both the healthy eating as well as the saving money. So go for it, Margaret.
Good morning. Thanks again for having us. When it comes to cooking fish at home, typically I think you can spend a lot of money, or you can look for advantages with your fishmonger for saving a little bit of money as well. One of the things I'd recommend, excuse me, I'm getting over a little bit of a cold this morning too. If you're going to go to your fishmonger, I would suggest, first of all, going to a fishmonger. Try not to buy your fish at Walmart or one of these off-chain retail stores. So try to find a local fishmonger that you can source your fish at, and look for fish that's possibly lower in mercury. Larger fish species tend to be a little bit higher in mercury. It can be a little bit more expensive too, like your groupers and tuna and swordfish especially is higher in mercury. So try to focus on some that are a little bit lower in mercury and higher in omega-3s, such as your trouts, your catfish, even herring. Salmon is another one, especially if it's a wild caught salmon, is lower in mercury, and they can be a little bit less expensive as well. So first of all, you want to try sourcing locally or sourcing within the United States. Farm raised fish, that's another topic in itself. I try to stay away from anything that's farm raised outside of the United States. If you're looking for tilapia, be sure to try to get something that's sourced within the United States.
Yeah.
You can run into some other problems that your health risks will be compromised from the pesticides and the feed that they treat the fish with.
And when it comes to cooking at home, I'm one of those that's been on Weight Watchers and other weight loss programs throughout my whole life. And tilapia, growing up, was always that go-to fish for healthy eating. And but there's so many other options out there. Those white fishes are always going to be lighter and lower in calories and fat, whereas you'll have like your salmon that's high in healthy fats and still really good for you.
That's correct. Yeah, and I'm not a big salmon fan, but there's different ways that you can cook it. And then again, when you're going to your fishmonger, ask them if they can give you the heads and the other pieces of the fish so you can take them home, and then you can make a stock out of it and you can stretch it and different menu ideas. And we have a recipe out there on our webpage, Fishmonger Approved, that teaches you how to make fish stock. So getting back to the healthy options, you get higher in omega-3s, mix it with vegetables, and stick to the basics.
Yeah, and go heavy on your, everyone, when they think about seasoning seafood or seasoning meat, they think about salt, pepper, the basics, but there's so many herbs out there that can add flavor without a lot of sodium too. So for those of you who aren't necessarily trying to lose weight, but maybe lowering your sodium intake for blood pressure reasons, focus on your dills, your herbs, your garlics,
and cumin,
any of those types of spices and seasonings that really can mix things up.
Well, how does yellowtail fall on your list?
Yellowtail snapper?
Yep.
Yes, snapper is actually one of the lower mercury item fish, and I think
Super healthy.
It's a really good high in omega-3s, obviously, but it's also yellowtail. If you can source yellowtail and you can cook it whole, that's even a better option because now you're consuming more of the entire fish in itself.
Yeah. And from a weight loss perspective, your snappers are always going to be lower in calorie, and that's right.
Yeah, yellowtail are one of my favorite things to eat, so that's why I asked. So
you're lucky if you can get yellowtail. I miss having that.
Yeah,
it's kind of hard to find over on
well,
the West Coast.
it's pretty plentiful over on this coast. So
yeah.
And
anywhere from Jupiter south, you can catch them. There's a lot of them. So.
Yeah. Oh, that's great.
I would cook it whole outside on the grill.
Yeah, and cooking it whole, this is, Margaret had pointed out earlier when we were getting ready to come on the radio, this might be a great time to learn how to fillet fish. So that could be cheaper. You can kind of keep it healthier. But my background, I actually have a degree in nutrition. And so Margaret's cooking skills and fish skills with nutrition, we can tell you all you need to know about eating healthy in the new year. As for any questions on the cooking, and then we'll move over to dining out.
I have a couple questions on the cooking.
Yeah.
Let's use yellowtail as an example because it's something I cook a lot. As opposed to just using the normal salt, pepper, garlic. What are the herbs? I know you were talking about herbs. What would go well with snapper?
Snapper. Ooh. Okay, dill. Actually, I use a lot of dill and sage. Really use a little bit of sage, light touches of that when you're cooking. And if you have the opportunity, I mean, right now we've got it's lemon season and orange season on this coast anyway. So what I'll do is I'll usually get my fire on the grill ready, and I'll put the slices of the citrus on the grill.
There's a recipe for that.
Yeah, I've got another. I think so. I've also got a video on that one. Yeah, and I just go ahead and I lightly season the fish with some. You want to use a little bit of salt, but if you're going to use salt on a fish, don't use the iodized salt. Use a sea salt, Himalayan salt. And then when I cook it whole on the grill, I'll put it on top of the citrus and do it that way. Or, basically, you want to slice the fish open. And I'll actually sometimes stick rosemary inside of the carcass of the fish as well. And then, maybe a couple slices of garlic in there. And that just kind of makes a nice different, kind of an aroma as you're cooking the fish.
And stick with your lighter oils, stick with your grapeseed oils, your olive oils. Canola oil is fine too. Kind of shift over to some of those healthy oils versus like the heavy butters and those types of things as well. And add salt at the end. I think a lot of people, we like to season ahead of time, and there might be some fish you have to do that with certain cooking styles. So when you add it at the end, you're more likely to put less salt on your food.
Be careful. Again, iodized salt. So
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Cool. Thank you.
I was going to.
And then.
Well, I wanted to ask
ahead.
you about, you said something about cooking them whole when I've said many times on the show that for me growing up, fishing was a vital part of our family. We would all do it as a family. We'd go fishing, we'd catch the fish, I would help clean the fish, my dad would cook the fish. And many times, probably well over 90% of the time, my parents cooked the fish whole, which some of my friends didn't care for too much. But you said something about cooking them whole. There's more... You get more out of them when you cook them whole? Is that what you said?
Yeah, absolutely. You're gonna, when you fillet the fish, you think about it. Unless you're really skilled at filleting, you're gonna lose some of the meat in the between the bones, and then of course in the head the head piece in itself. So when you cook it whole, typically, like I said, what I'll do is I'll put it on the grill and I'll score it. Actually, depending on the fish, scale it, score it a little bit, and then rub your spices in that. And I had mentioned cooking it on citrus if you have that opportunity. So that way, it actually adds a nice aroma through the fish, and it'll kind of steam it at the same time. But, I think that people get the shock factor when they look at a whole fish, and they're like, wow, this
they
is,
do. I remember.
What am I doing?
Yeah.
You can also, if you have that in your family, I'd suggest, you pull the fish off the, with a fork, just take it off of the bone and make a presentation on your plate for them, those that are a little squeamish.
Yeah, and I think the biggest thing with when you're cooking it whole, like I know with snapper, sometimes the skin is also eaten along with the fish, depending on the type of fish.
Mm-hmm.
If you're looking at a lower fat, lower calorie type of diet this time of year, avoid the skin. Just focus on that white, fleshy meat inside.
Yep.
Same, and stay away from. I mean, I don't think I need to tell anyone this, but let's stay away from the super fried fish food this time of year.
Yeah.
or any time of year, but especially right now. Let's
It's-
at least get to Valentine's Day and stay away from fried food. And then as far as dining out, just some really quick tips. Focus again on when you go to a restaurant, don't be afraid to ask for servers to bring you or the kitchen to cook with less oil or less fat. A lot of these seafood dishes come with vegetable sides. You can always ask for vegetables to be steamed instead of loaded with butter, although I know it doesn't sound as exciting, but there are other ways to add flavor. You can always sprinkle a little Parmesan cheese on broccoli instead of adding all the butter to it. Garlic, little herbs. And then as far as like sauces, when we order things like clams or mussels, oftentimes there's an option of choosing a red broth versus a light, buttery, wine-based broth. Stick with your red broths. They're always going to be healthier than your white bases. And then things like picatas, trying to think any other cream-based. We have a lot of those pasta dishes that are high, heavy cream-based. Those are the ones you want to avoid and focus more on getting the whole fish or the salmon is great. Most restaurants have salmon. I don't care where you go. Most restaurants will have salmon. But do ask where the fish is sourced from.
That's right.
While that won't help with weight loss specifically, it will just give you an idea of what other chemicals might be added to that fish and what that fish is eating itself when you're enjoying it.
And you had also mentioned to try to stay away from farm raised, particularly if it's out of the country. My preference has always been wild. Whenever possible, to get wild. I don't particularly care for farm raised because you don't know what's happening when farm raised.
Yeah. Even in the United States, sometimes you're going to get the runoff of pesticides, and then they're going to, if they've got overcrowding in their fish farms, they're going to go ahead and use some kinds of antibiotics to treat the fish. So I don't want to get overstretched here on the science behind it, but just try to know where your fish is coming from. I think that's the bottom line.
And one more point on the reason to get wild versus farm raised from a healthy eating standpoint. Salmon, for instance, although very healthy, if it's farm raised, it's going to have more fat in it because the fish isn't moving around as much. Mm-hmm. Whereas if it's wild, it will be a leaner fish. It might not taste as amazingly delicious, but you can get very clean tasting, delicious salmon or other fish that are wild, and you'll know that there's less fat that's part of it. Now, if you're looking to gain weight, some people do look to gain weight. I've never understood what that means. But I've had those friends that want to gain weight. Then you could look at adding other healthy fats. When people think of gaining weight, we're not going out and eating fried food. It might just be adding an avocado to something or adding a higher healthy fat or nuts or other things to your food.
Well,
don't forget your veggies.
That's right.
So
I have a very simple recipe whenever people are looking to cook fish or have never cooked fish. I just take the fillets. I make my own salsa. So I just take the fillets, throw some salsa in it, wrap it in aluminum foil, get the grill to about 400 degrees, throw it on 2 minutes on the side, and open it up. And it's
very good.
It comes out great, and it tastes great because of the salsa. So nobody seems to...
Yeah, salsa is a great salsa. Like any salsa, salsas are really good alternative. It's also back in the day, for Weight Watchers, for instance, we used to put salsas on salads or choose do more vinegar-based stuff for salads too as healthier alternatives. I think my biggest challenge sometimes when dining out, when it comes to seafood, is if you order a piece of fish, fillet of fish, oftentimes you're getting like a side of a broccoli and like maybe a pasta or some kind of carb. And I get tired of the same old, 3-piece plate, whereas I love to add color. My mom always taught me that your dish should have at least 3 to 5 colors on it. And we're not talking about M&Ms or Skittles. We're talking about adding real healthy colors. I was like, wait, so does that mean 3 different colors of ice cream? No, it means adding different colors because different colors give you different nutrients. So if there's an option to have like roasted root vegetables or just like adding a mix of zucchinis and tomatoes and peppers.
Yeah, you can throw tomatoes and avocados on anything and make it better. So.
Yeah, absolutely. That's what the Italians do, or the Greeks. They do it right. And lemon juice, like Margaret said with cooking, when you're dining out, get some lemon. Lemon is so good for you and adds a nice little fresh zest to your food. Yeah. So lots of different things you can do.
I like lemon. I like garlic. I like the cumin. I'm being from the Middle East. I'm a Middle Eastern background. We use that quite a bit in a bunch of different foods. So that was something that was always on. I like a little bit of sage and dill on there. But the thing that caught my ear the most was when you said to cook the fish whole, because that was one of the things that occasionally we would take, I'd take one of my friends with us, and sometimes we would go the whole weekend. I lived in Miami at the time. It wasn't uncommon. We'd go to like Naples and spend a weekend at Naples and go fishing off the pier at Naples and then cook what we caught. And like I said,
awesome.
they would cook the whole fish, and if I had a friend with me, they'd kind of see him back off and wait a minute, I don't know if I want to eat that. So
Dinner's looking back at me. So.
And by the way, speaking of Naples, we were actually in Naples last month, I believe it was. There are two really good seafood places that we recommend to go to for seafood. There's Covello Lounge. If you get back over there. They actually brought a guy from New York who really is doing very classic seafood dishes. It's more of a tapas style restaurant. And then HB's on the Gulf at the Naples Beach Resort. Their seafood is phenomenal. They do a grouper there. Like if you're looking for a nice dining out experience and you're on the West Coast down there, that restaurant's phenomenal. Their grouper dish is great. And then going back to Cabo, they have cobia on the menu. That's
You can hardly
delicious.
find that. I know.
It's hard to find that.
Yeah. You can find cobia.
Yeah, it is. Cobia is great
So
too.
we'll meet you in Naples.
So
I'll be there.
Can you tell us anything about the East Coast?
East Coast, there's a over in the Fort Lauderdale, Wilton Manors area. How far are you guys from that area?
It's about 40 minutes to an hour.
Yeah, there's a place called, and I'm going to screw this up, I think it's like the Rusty Hook.
Yes.
They are phenomenal. They're tucked away. It's kind of hard to find. You don't even know that it's there. They serve a whole fish. They do the whole snappers, and they'll give you options of like, one of the options was a fried whole snapper with a chili Thai sauce. That's the one to stay away from this time of year. It's fried and it's sweet. It's got a lot of sugar, but they do other options as well. And then their seafood's delicious there. The other one in that area is the Beach House. The Beach House is a kind of a little bit more elegant feel. Really good seafood. They have I'm trying to remember what it was the one night. They have a fish spread that they use that I believe they make with trout. Just be careful of too much fish spread because of the mayonnaise and the high fat content. Yeah, and they have some great, the seafood tacos and things like that. And seafood tacos aren't horrible. Just try to limit how many tortillas we're having. Those types of ahi tuna or the poke bowls, that's a big thing this time of year. Poke bowls are great. Especially if you can get it with brown rice, even healthier. So, but there's a few places. I haven't gotten down. I really want to get back over there to go down towards like the Miami food scene. But there's definitely lots of really good.
In your magazine, you have a list of these restaurants in your magazine?
So we're starting to add lists to our magazine. We have something now that we just rolled out. We may have talked about it last time we were on the radio, but we just rolled out a program called Fishmonger Approved Restaurant Evaluation, in other terms, FARE, F-A-R-E. What that is, there's a link on our website on the homepage where you can go and we ask restaurants to answer a few questions about where they're sourcing seafood, what seafood options they have. They don't have to be a seafood restaurant. They just have to have 3 seafood items or more. And then we do a food tasting. We might send you in on the East Coast. And as long as the seafood is quality food and delicious and meets Fishmonger approved standards, we actually provide them with a certificate and put them at this point. We don't charge for it. We give them a free directory listing for a year on our website. So definitely, if
any of you have never been to the Square Grouper in Summerlin Key,
okay,
I've heard of it.
You should try that.
Yeah, I've heard of it.
Where is it at, Robert?
The lady runs a great restaurant. The seafood is phenomenal. Just a great place, great lady that runs the place, and some of the best seafood you'll ever eat. So.
And then you said that was Summerlin Key?
Yep, it's about mile marker 25, I believe, or 26.
Okay.
It's called the Square Grouper, and then the upstairs is called, what is she renamed it something? up or something. I don't know. It's upstairs or something. But she's got 2 restaurants now, one downstairs, one upstairs. So
that's awesome. And then over where we are in St. Pete, it's kind of a growing area for seafood. One of our favorite places, although honestly a local bar, is the Queen's Head. But then they also have the Mill restaurant out here is really good. And then in Tampa, where Pam is, Ulele is probably one of my favorites to get seafood and lots of healthy options.
Yeah, I'm getting some noise from you, Robert. You're
that's the wind. I'm trying to get out of it.
Are you on the boat, Robert?
No, I'm at a mountain bike park. So
he's out there.
I'm trying to find a place out of the wind.
He's
I'm
enjoying
walking around trying to find a place where I'm not in the wind. So
he's enjoying the
There we go.
outdoors, and I'm enjoying the indoors. I'm in here nice and warm. It's toasty where I'm at.
Yeah, we've got our.
It's not where I am.
Here.
It's going to be a cool day for the rest of the day. I really appreciate you guys coming on and sharing with us the different recipes and all the tips. Now, if I remember right, I think you have a website, right? Let's get the website out there.
It's Fishmonger, and that's fish and then MONGER, approved.com, all one word. And we also have a Facebook page that's very active. We actually posted some article yesterday that went a little viral. And we do have a YouTube channel as well, where Margaret shares how cooking demos, fillet demos. She goes on adventures with fishermen and stone crabbers around the area. Always looking for cool adventures to highlight on there as well.
It's Fishmonger on Facebook also?
Yeah, Fishmonger approved on Facebook, on YouTube, on Instagram, anywhere you can go on social media. We're there. We're building on Twitter, but not there much because it's
touch on the recipes again are on our webpage. And I wanted to just mention one other thing, and I thought about it. I've got a couple of spices out there. One of them is a za'atar seasoning that you may be very interested in. It's a seasoning that this is Middle Eastern seasoning, and I've got my own twist on it. But if you go to our webpage, there's that recipe on there as well that I use on my whole fish. And then there's other recipes that, for anybody interested in doing some home cooking.
Just avoid the recipe on there. That's the chicken and waffle, the grouper and waffles. We did a spin on chicken and waffles, and we made a fried grouper and waffles.
It's pretty awesome.
Don't eat that this time of year, guys. Focus. Stay away from the grouper and waffles.
Anything in waffles, yeah.
Right.
Wow.
It was really good.
There you go. Well, ladies, thank you so very much. I wish you an awesome day, and I'm looking forward to having you back on with more updates. I like the idea. You guys bring fresh ideas, and that's really, for me, what it's about, because, everybody can, you have the same thing over and over and over. It can be the best taste. One of my favorite fish is mahi-mahi. And that's one of them that you can cook in a whole wide variety of ways. And for me, one of my favorite ways was barbecuing. Well, you get tired of that after a while, and it's nice to have somebody introduce different ideas and different ways. And I appreciate that. Thank you so very much. Wish both of you an awesome
mahi's
day.
a good one. Mahi's low in mercury and high in nutrients.
A more sustainable fish, believe it or not.
It's a great fish source.
And they're still hitting, believe it or not. My next guest, Angelia, will be coming on. She's down in Key Largo, Islamorada. And she posted last week. She caught another one, so they're still around.
Nice.
They're still out there.
Nice.
Ladies, wish you an awesome day. Thank you so very much, and looking forward to having you back on.
Awesome. Sounds good. Talk to you guys later. Happy holidays.
All right. Thank you.
Happy New Year.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
All right, Robert, here we go. We're going to take a break, and we'll be right back.
You're listening to the Fish Florida Show with your host, Rachael. Don't go away. We'll be right back.
From the author of Silent Steps and Haunted, Finding an Explanation for the Unknown, comes a story so chilling it will haunt you for years to come. Krista is a young woman escaping her past, running away from her family, her traumas, and her God, hoping to find a new life in a different town. But when she is forced to make a horrible choice, she comes to realize malevolent entities have controlled the true darkness she has been a part of. That is when her real terror begins. Penitence is disturbing and evocative. It will tear down the walls between what is real and what is nightmare. Penitence is the new novel by the man called the new master of speculative fiction, Ira Robinson. Find it and all of his books at his website, originalworlds.com.
Do you own a laser printer, copier, or a fax? Well then, listen close to this announcement. Laser Technologies has been providing high-quality, frustration-free toner cartridges that are guaranteed not to harm your equipment for over 20 years. Laser Technologies will save you on your supplies with high-quality and fast delivery. Savings up to 50%. Laser Technologies supplies toner, imaging drums, developer and cartridges for most of the major brands. For a price quote, send an email to service@laser-technologies.com. Include your printer make and model for your part number. Call us at 561-792-9600. That's 561-792-9600. Laser Technologies, providing 100% of the quality at a fraction of the price. 561-792-9600.
Want to give your pet the celebrity treatment? Have you heard of Holly Wolf Pet Grooming and Care in Royal Palm Beach? They're located just off State Road 7 and have been servicing the area for 14 years. Holly Wolf Pet Grooming and Care is the home of the Blueberry Facial, also specializing in tartar removal with 8 years of assisting in dental procedures. Holly Wolf Pet Grooming and Care? They're more than just about dogs. They are the only experienced cat groomer in the area. They also cater to all breeds and sizes and open 6 days a week. Holly Wolf Pet Grooming and Care, located just north of the Super Walmart in Royal Palm Beach. You can find them at 250 Business Parkway. They specialize in shampoos with no extra charge. Flea and tick dips also available. Holly Wolf Pet Grooming and Care. You can give them a call at 561-793-9992. They also provide gift certificates for those looking for that special present. Holly Wolf Pet Grooming and Care. 561-793-9992. They're located in Royal Palm Beach. That number, 561-793-9992. Call for your appointment today. 561-793-9992. Holly Wolf Pet Grooming and Care, where your pet gets celebrity treatment.
Can I tell you a cat joke? Just kidding. Why did the girl ask the mushroom to dance? Because he was a fun guy. What do you call a pig that knows karate? Pork chop. Why was the basketball court all wet? Why? Because the players kept dribbling all over it. Can I tell you another one? So how does a tissue dance? Put a little boogie on it. What's Beethoven's favorite fruit? Banana. What is a boxer's favorite drink? Fruit punch.
Dad joke. Corny, groan-worthy, but also one of the simplest ways to share a moment with your kids.
What did the buffalo say when he dropped his son off for school? Bye, son.
So take a moment to make your kid laugh, because dad jokes rule. Make your kid laugh today. Go to fatherhood.gov. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services and the Ad Council.
I grab my fishing pole and cast it in the water. I fish until dawn. Oh my, I caught a shark. I'm fishing and blowing on when the sun shines all day. They call me a grouper. So fishing and blowing on. Oh yeah.
It's the Fish Florida Show with your host, Rachael Stevens, bringing the outdoors to you every Sunday morning, 8 to 10 a.m. And now your host, Rachael Stevens.
All right, we are back. It is the Fishing in Florida Show, formerly the Fish Florida Show. We are no longer affiliated with the Fish Florida Group. They have decided to go their way. We are going our way, and wish them the best. In the meantime, I have the one and only Robert Warner. Robert is with the Florida Fisherman Magazine. My usual co-host, who is Pam Worth, she is involved in tournaments for at least the next 4 weeks, so she won't be with me for at least 4 weeks. And may hear from her giving us a fishing report, but she's kind of committed to what she's doing, and I thank her for all of the times that she has called in and spent with me and shared with me. And looking forward to hearing from her in the future as well. So welcome back, Robert.
Well, good morning again.
And guess who I have? I have the one
Angelia.
and only Angelia. That's right. The Florida Salty Cowgirl. Good morning.
Good morning, y'all. How are you doing?
Good morning.
It's been a
What's
long
the weather
week.
like down there?
Well, today it's a little chilly and it's a little windy, but it's been absolutely beautiful the last few days.
That's good.
Yeah.
Wait a minute.
Yes,
Wait a minute. Say that again. It's what?
It's a little bit chilly and a little bit windy, for my taste anyway.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's been beautiful the last few days, and we definitely have gotten our windy days down here with really bad seas. So we've been taking advantage every time we can when the seas are beautiful to get out there on the water.
Yeah. So
And
it's
lucky
been
I spent 5
it's been windy down there as well then, right? It's like 20 to 25 mile an hour gusts, and I'm 14 miles from the ocean. So I can imagine what it's like at the ocean.
We've gotten 27 to 30 mile
Holy
winds down
smokes.
here.
Wow.
Yeah, it runs everyone off the water. It's terrible, but I'm super blessed. I got to spend the last 5 days on the water. So
Oh, wow.
no complaints here. And, I have to mention it because we've talked about it several times. I am still bringing in mahi. Amazing, huh?
I just mentioned that to the last two guests. I just mentioned that we were talking about mahi. They're still happening down there. I saw the post. I'm just envy you. Just envy you. She's got this big smile, ear to ear smile, and she's holding up a mahi, and what was the other one?
It was a decent little kingfish.
I was going to say wahoo, but okay.
No, it was a kingfish.
I just remember her this big smile, and what caught my attention the most was she's holding up this mahi, and here it is. It's January. To me, that's like highly unusual, right? Am I right, or am I just I'm off base?
I've always heard that the mahi stay around Florida all year long, but
They
in
do.
my personal
Not
in my
in great numbers, but they do.
Huh.
Right, but in my personal experience, we wait for them to come in the spring, and that's when your mahi tournaments start, and then through, let's say, Labor Day or even a little later, we're catching them, and I mean we're catching them in numbers. But in my personal experience, I mean, late December, January, February, I mean, I haven't caught any mahi. I just really haven't seen a lot. It's like, maybe pick one here, pick one there, but I've been consistently getting one almost every time I go out trolling the reef line. So it's pretty unusual in my personal opinion. Plus, eating fresh mahi in January is not so bad.
That's a pleasant surprise, yeah.
You won't hear me complaining.
And then I have to tell you, the reef bite has been totally on fire. The yellowtail, the muttons, the porgies, it's been really, really on fire. So the fishing's just been great down here. The sailfish are here, the wahoo here, and I hear that the kingfish are coming in droves. So, winter fishing in the Keys is fantastic as long as we don't have the winds blowing like they've been. So,
did you get some grouper in before the season ended?
I wanted to actually mention that I did not, but the last 3 days I've been on the reef, which of course has been after the season closed, and I have seen grouper just popping on the deck, boom, 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 boom. And I'm making jokes with people. I said, they must have gotten a memo that their season is over because now they're mad.
Well,
it's like the snook. They're stacked up in the inlet, the snook during the summer when you can't catch them. And then as soon as September 1st hits, they're gone.
Why do you think they call them schools of fish? Because they're in school.
Exactly.
They're learning. I know.
But they definitely got the memo because the grouper have been biting like mad. So they definitely got the memo. In fact, yesterday I saw a kid catch 2 nice size red grouper at one time on a chicken rig.
Now that's nice.
And then you get to put them all back in the water.
I know. Take good pictures, vent them, and get them back in as quick as you can.
Yep.
But yeah, I've been making jokes. They must have gotten the memo that the season's closed because yes, they are biting. And no, I did not get one before the season closed. Darn it! But
from what I've seen, the mutton snapper and the yellowtail are really, really on fire because all the pictures I've gotten from South Florida have been lots of mutton snappers and lots of yellowtail. So
lots and lots and lots and lots. and they've been big, so that's wonderful. I mean, lots and lots and lots of porgies, and they've been big. So, I mean, no complaints on the reef whatsoever. I think
somebody sent me a picture of a 10-year-old boy with about a 18-pound, I would guess, 18 to 20-pound mutton.
Lord
Big
have
one.
mercy.
That's giant mutton.
Oh, my gosh.
Yep.
That's
So-
bigger than the boy. That's giant mutton.
Do you think that because we're seeing this, or we're having reports of these fish being caught, generally speaking, larger, that's a good indication that resources are rebuilding, that they're continuing?
Well, I'm going to voice my opinion on that. The reef down here around Isla Morada is healthy. I'm seeing sea turtles every single day.
Oh, cool.
Really tons and tons of fish, massive varieties of fish. Even all of your ornamental aquarium type fish are coming in like crazy.
Wow.
Little Atlantic sharks are coming in like crazy. I even saw a couple eels come in yesterday. It's just everything on the reef is biting like it's on fire. So anybody, even on a day that you can't get offshore because it's too rough, if you can make it 3 miles out onto the reef and anchor up, you can have a fantastic day of bottom fishing or yellowtailing, because it is just on fire right now.
Where do you usually go when you're fishing the reef? I used to go down there quite a bit, and I think I told you it's Alligator Rock, Alligator Light, Alligator something.
Alligator Lighthouse and Alligator Reef.
Yeah,
I've spent the last 3 days around solid.
Yeah, I used to fish that quite a bit, especially around the lighthouse itself. It was a nice reference point for me. But do you still fish in that area?
I can see the lighthouse every day from where we've been fishing.
Rub it in. Rub it in. Oh, my gosh. Oh, my goodness. Wow.
And Molasses Reef is on fire, too. That's a little bit north of there. That's in Key Largo.
Yeah.
And then you've got Concrete right outside of Tavernier Creek, and that's been super, super hot, too. So, I mean, all of your reef markers where you've got a protected area, you've got mooring buoys because you can't anchor up around the actual reef markers. You don't want to damage the reef with your anchor. But it's just the fishing has just been great. Some of the wrecks right outside of the reefs, too, have just been on fire. The reef fishing, I just can't say enough about it right now. And as far as up on the reef while you're reef fishing, you can look out and see bait just flying through the air with sailfish chasing it,
Holy
too.
smokes.
And there's nothing more exciting than that.
Oh, my God. Wow.
Sea turtles have been everywhere. Like I said, it's just the reef seems to me to be very, very healthy and coming to life very nicely down here, and I couldn't be happier about it.
Excellent.
This time of year down in the Keys, you can watch that rare phenomenon of a group of sailfish balling up a group of bait fish too.
Really?
And it's normally in fairly shallow water, and we sat and watched. My friend Charlie Rogers and I sat and watched a group of sailfish just herd a bunch of bait fish into a ball and just tear them up.
I bet that's awesome.
It's a sight. That is worth the price of admission anytime, is just to watch that. So
I bet that was awesome.
It's the most exciting thing to see this bait just flying through the air and see the sailfish just chasing it like crazy. And this bait's just, I mean, I'm talking hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of little silver baitfish just flying through the air with this beautiful sailfish chasing them. And they'll be so far up on the reef, shallow and 10 foot of water with sandy bottom. So you can see everything just like you're looking at it on the, on Geo or
like
something.
Watching a movie. It's great.
It is. And it just makes your heart pound. It's so exciting. It's beautiful. Yeah, the reef is definitely alive right now.
Angelia, was it you that told me I think it was you. You went down, you were scuba diving or something, or you were snorkeling? Was that you?
Yes, absolutely. I love to go down and see what's down there.
Yeah, and this wasn't too long ago, right? It's like maybe a month ago. Am I right?
It was. And for me personally, it gives me a completely different perspective on what's going on down the bottom when you're actually on the boat fishing.
Yeah.
You can kind of visualize the fish up in the rocks, the fish in schools in different places. It gives you a really different perspective of what's down there and the different varieties of what's down there. The stingrays, the turtles, the sharks, the eels, and how the fish actually do go up into these rock structures and all. It just gives you a really neat perspective. And then when you're on a boat and you drop a line in the water, it kind of gives you a feel for what you're dealing with down there. And it's just really neat to have those two different perspectives. And I love to dive the reef in the spots that I fish.
The reason I'm asking is that I wanted to find out your perspective, because I've asked several different people if they know somebody who dives on a regular basis, because I'd like to hear from them their perspective, what they're seeing down there. What does the health of the reef look like to them? From the boat, it can be very deceiving. It can look very nice from the boat, because you could be typically 15 to 30 to 50 feet above, and still see the bottom. But what you're seeing may not be an accurate picture. So that's why I'm bringing it up. So how did you feel about the health of the reef when you were down there?
Well, I do dive regularly, and there was I'm going to go all the way back to when Irma came through down here, and that did a lot of destruction to our reef. It knocked down reef structure that we had for 20 years, and big arches of coral and all kinds of reef structure that got destroyed by that storm. That storm surge comes so hard and so fast, you wouldn't believe that it could knock down, coral structure that's been there for decades, but it did. And there's a lot of the Coral Reef Foundation. There's a lot of coral. They go down there and they rebuild coral structure down there on the bottom. And I actually dove around one of those sites in Key Largo, like you said, about a month ago. And the reef, the coral grows back to these structures that they build. They build like a framework for the reef to regrow, for the coral to regrow. And it's just amazing because it takes to these frameworks and it starts growing back so nicely. And
the Coral Restoration Foundation is an organization that we have backed for years in the magazine. They do a phenomenal job all the way down the Keys. Their office is in Key Largo, but they go all the way down to Key West, rebuilding coral reefs, and they do a phenomenal job. They are all volunteers, and they are a outstanding group. If anybody needs to donate money for something for a good cause, send it to them. They are out there every day rebuilding these reefs. So
what's that name again, Robert?
It's the Coral Restoration Foundation, and they are in Key Largo.
Okay.
Yeah, Robert, thank you, because I absolutely second that 100%. That is a wonderful foundation. And a month ago when I was diving with a young lady who had just finished an internship out of college as a marine biologist with the Coral. Come on, say it again, Robert.
Coral Restoration Foundation.
I've been in the water the last 5 days. It's my first cup of coffee. So, yes, they do a wonderful job. And this young lady had really told me a lot about the work that they were doing, and we were diving together. And it's a magnificent organization, and they have done beautiful things to our reef down here. I can't say enough about them. Thank you for all of their help. And yes, if you wanted to donate money to someone, do it to them, because without the reef, there would be no fish and there would be no life down here. And we have 120 miles of North America's only living reef along our Florida Keys. And it's
they're an amazing group. If you go by their office in Key Largo, they'll actually show you how this stuff is planted. It has to contact in 3 different points to adhere itself correctly. But they'll go through the whole process with you, show you how it works. It's a great, great organization. So
wow, I didn't even know we had anything like that.
Yeah, they're a magnificent group. They really do wonders down here. And without this reef, our entire ecosystem would fall to pieces. We have to have this reef. It's very important. Yeah. So I completely agree. It's a magnificent organization. They do great work, and they have done wonderful things rebuilding that reef and structure since Irma came through here. And now, it was heartbreaking to dive after Irma. Now it's starting to look beautiful and healthy again, and there's structure coming back that had been destroyed. And it's a wonderful thing to see the reef very, very healthy and all the life that's on it. The life is just insane. It's a lot of life on the reef right now.
I bet that's
great to hear.
That's heartwarming to see it coming back to life again.
Well, since it's my happy place, it's definitely heartwarming for me.
That's a good thing. Yeah.
Yes, wow. Absolutely.
Wow.
Yeah, and anybody who's chance to dive it or does do any snorkeling or diving, please do, because once you get your eyes on it, you'll never forget it. It's just amazing.
I've had so many great days on those reefs from Key Largo all the way down to Key West that it's just great that there's people out there taking care of it. So.
Yeah, I had no idea that. I'm glad to hear about that. Robert, we have to see if we can get somebody from the foundation on to tell us.
Oh, I'm sure we can.
Yeah.
I'm sure we can.
Yeah, tell us a little bit about what they do. In the meantime, we're rapidly running out of time, and before we do that, I want to give Angelia an opportunity. Those of you who may be tuning in for the first time, we're no longer with the Fish Florida Alliance organization group. We are the Fishing in Florida show. This will be the first and last show Fish Florida will do in 2020. From now on, it'll be the Florida Fishing. Let's try it again. Fishing in Florida show. Boy, I got Fishing in Florida all mixed up. So it'll be Fishing in Florida show from here on out. And Angelia has been one of them that has been kind enough, a regular, along with Robert, that has called in and given us information about what's going on in their particular area. Angelia is a captain. She is a certified captain who has a tremendous amount of experience. So if you're looking to go fishing in the Keys and you want someone who knows what's going on, literally lives in the Keys and spends her days on the water, Angelia is the lady that you want to get a hold of. So I want to give you an opportunity. If they want to reach you, Angelia, how do they do that? What's the different ways to do that?
You can reach me by email at floridasaltycowgirl@gmail.com. I keep saying this, but eventually I'm going to have my website back up at www.floridasaltycowgirl.com. You can always find me on social media on Facebook, Florida Salty Cowgirl, on Instagram, Florida Salty Cowgirl Angela, or you can reach me on my phone at any time at 813-610-0078. And really, the next few months should just be fantastic down here as long as the wind's not blowing. It should be great.
You do a wonderful job down there. You really do.
Thank you very much, because I enjoy what I do immensely.
Oh, and it shows. Yeah, you've got to follow her on Facebook and become friends with her on Facebook. You won't believe some of the posts that she puts up. It is refreshing that I'm associated with people who care about our environment, because it's something that we, so many cases we hear about this has happened and that has happened, and it's been detrimental to our environment. Here we have people that genuinely care and keep an eye out for us. I'm glad that I didn't realize that you regularly scuba dive. I'm glad that you do that. I want to hear more and more about the health of the reefs, because again, you're down there. It's a completely different perspective than being on top of the water. Anyway, we are out of time. Robert, thank you for co-hosting today. I greatly appreciate it. Angelia, wish you and Robert an awesome day. Listeners, thank you. Greatly appreciate it. We'll be back in a week, and here we go.
Take care.
All aboard, southbound. Come on, baby, let's go. Don't forget your bikini. I wake up in the morning, oh, it's so cold. I'm hopping on a train, heading southbound. I'm going to Florida, where the sun shines all day. Just call me a grouper, 'cause I'm fishing in Florida. Oh, yeah. 7, 9, 15, 20, oh, I'm losing count. Too many fish to eat. Oh, what a treat. I'm fishing in Florida, where the mackerel grow wild. Blue size of whales, oh my. 'Cause I'm fishing in Florida. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. I grab my fishing pole and cast it in the water. I fish until dawn. Oh my, I caught a shark. I'm fishing in Florida, where the sun shines all day. They call me a grouper, 'cause I'm fishing in Florida. Oh yeah, fishing in Florida. Oh yeah, I'm fishing in Florida. Oh yeah, I'm fishing in Florida. Oh yeah, I'm fishing in Florida. Fish.